Hello, my Teaserking family. Back for round two. Just a second, let me get my phone. I'm charging it. I thought I was charging it before, and then when I looked, it wasn't charged. All right. What do we add here? Silver is up $1.76 to 31.44. Big day. The last couple days, it's gone from 26 to 28 to 30 to 29 a bunch. Then it goes from 29 to 31.42. Gold 24.15, up 37 with the announcement of BRICS with the gold backed currency. I listened to Mark McGuire again, and it's supposed to be the end of March or the end of May is when they're moving it. Yeah, there we go. 31.42 on its way to 35, Luke. And look at gold, 24.15 on its way to 3,000. So the stock, okay, but be careful. I understand what you're doing, but because of the stock market crash that's going to happen, it might crush your stocks. So I would advise to take your profits soon. I'd wait till gold hits probably, I don't know, it's going to silver's going to 35, and we'll see. But just be careful because I think you have a little bit of time, but I don't think you have that much time before the market crashes. What'll happen is as BRICS is coming out with the gold, right? Gold backed currency, here comes BRICS. As that happens, you've got to understand that everybody's de-dollarizing. What's de-dollarizing? They don't want the dollar. They want the gold backed currency because they can trust that. They can't trust us. We put sanctions on Russia and China. A little country like Ethiopia or Egypt's going to get crushed too. So everybody's afraid of it, and they're not worried about the BRICS gold backed currencies gold. They're not worried about being sanctioned. They're not worried about the FX swings that are bullshit. So they're going to start, I don't want the dollar. I want the gold backed dollar. And as they get away from the dollar, nobody wants it. It has no value. All the people, you've got to understand there's trillions of dollars in the US that are foreign. They're going to come back home. So the guy in Germany who's got the silver stock, who's got all the stocks, says I need to get out of the market because it's in dollars. And they'll all sell. And then it'll be this huge collapse. And that's what you got to be careful with. So just keep that in mind. Yes, you're making it. So you made 44% versus the 6% today in silver. I don't know if you made 44%. Looks like, yeah. So that's good. I didn't hear any news on BRICS the other day. Zero. I played it earlier. You didn't see my video. So let's do. BRICS new gold standard currency is announced. So we looked at that yesterday. So I'll play that for you.
The US dollar is the world's reserve currency. Hello, global citizens. It's a groundbreaking update from our news pods as the much awaited BRICS currency announcement just hit the airways, and it is backed by gold and other metals. Far from what people might have been anticipating this move by the BRICS to take place, things seem to be happening faster than anticipated. Sit right back as we bring you details on the BRICS.
There you go. Does that help you out there? Now we'll go to Mark McGuire today talking about.
Last sale. But each time they would telegraph, we're going to sell gold.
right, Andrew, now can you give us an update on the BRICS gold-backed currency?
Yes, Shane, this leads on perfectly from the physically underpinned higher stair steps from which the next leg of the gold and silver rally commences. And I'm a firm believer that at the margin into an already tight for demand physical gold market, this 24-carat higher stair step support is at least partly attributable to the effect exactly 3 months of beta testing of Glazier's BRICS gold-backed commodity currency has had on the price of dollar benchmarked gold. And while not to one, our liquidity providers feel it's very close. And the plus $400 per ounce, kilo, ton, higher dollar cost to benchmark these same lots of gold is largely due to the forced unwinding of a 3-month-long, and this is a huge number, 295,000 lots of COMEX EFP drain. That equals, say, 918 tons of 96.
So what happened there, as we've seen the battle for gold, right? And we see it dropped, right? And we're like, well, why is it dropping? You know, we watched it go down to 22.90. That's what he's talking about. So they're just taking all the gold. So as the Fed tries to lower it and do the derivatives and get the price down, China's buying it. And there's not much left, is what he's saying. I'm going to go to a different spot because he really says more here. I think it's here.
With gold price now having migrated hundreds of dollars higher, the PBOC is all in to ensure these investors continue to be underpinned. Beijing is taking advantage of the boxed-in Fed's polar opposite strategy. It can only be described as a polar opposite strategy of seeking to chase out Western gold investors, as they're doing again today. All of that is happening while we witness CTA's exit their high counterparty risk unbacked gold investments. Inversely, we see the physical settled gold price moving into strong physical hands outside of the LBMA CME ring fence as those CTAs exit the COMEX. So Shane, to answer the question whether the PBOC strategy to underpin gold will endure, we only have to look at their track record. The last time the PBOC encouraged
That's the People Banks of China
citizens to buy gold back in 2010, they also undertook to underpin that gold price, which was at the time $1,000 per ounce. And despite multiple Fed-driven official gold price suppression attempts over the years, the PBOC stood to defend that gold price, and it was never revisited. Even during the cartel's price suppression heyday events before Basel III, when they still had full control of both the COMEX and the 10 times larger over-the-counter markets, they could never breach that level. And so to put things into context, last year's push to incentivize citizens' gold buying was benchmarked at 1900 spot, which was about $900 higher than when gold was benchmarked the last time they underpinned the gold price in 2010. Now, this measure was by no coincidence undertaken directly after the PBOC was blocked by the IMF from accessing 203 tons of gold that remained available after the IFM's 200-ton Reserve Bank of India sale. And I'm going to circle back on this in a sec, as it now leads into how all of this central bank and coordinated citizen gold buying segues into the BRICS gold-backed currency. Following the latest Beijing gold investment push at around 1900, we did evidence spot gold synthetically gamed into an LBMA spot low at 1810. That was in October of 2023. So in dollar terms, it was about $90 lower. But, and this is important, the yuan price of gold was flywheeled around $130 higher than the US dollar benchmark, ensuring these small investors' gold returns met the PBOC's undertaking, which was, quote, gold investments would provide a return to investors based solely on price
All
appreciation.
right, I got to find the other spot. What he's saying is, will gold go down? Well, you know, is it just up? And he's saying, no, it won't go down because they're guaranteeing it. Doug Casey's an Austrian economist. I don't know. I have to check him out. So some mining stocks will see 10 times, 20 times, some 50 times. I do the forecasting around here. I'm not arguing that that won't happen. What I'm arguing about is the stock market crashing. They might go up, but at what time? Are they going to go up now? Because if everybody's out of the dollar and the stock market crashes, or they're going to go up after. That would be that's my comment. Yes, they will go up. I don't argue because it's all inventory, right? The stock's based on gold and silver inventory. So therefore, of course, they'll go up as gold and silver go up, but at what time it is. So just be careful. If it's hot now, I guess how I would play it, Luke, I would put stopgaps in. Do you know what a stopgap is? So if the price went up 40%, I don't know what was your mining stock's up 40%. Is it a $5 stock or is it a $100 stock? Let's say it's a $5 stock up 40%. So now it's at $7. If it's a $20 stock up 40%, is at $28. So it's tough with percentage because gold's going up $40, $50, right? It's up $38 today. Is your stock up $38 today? And the same thing with silver, it's up $1.75. So gold seems to go dollars. Silver, for some reason, doesn't go up $10. I don't understand why gold goes up $30 in a day and silver $1.75. Why doesn't silver go up to $30 that gold's going up? This doesn't make sense to me. However, welcome to COMEX. So I think if I was you, and I'm not playing stocks right now, I'm just into I'm right here. I'm right here, Luke. That's it. That's my lock risk-free investment. I would stopgap it. So in other words, it's at 30, the Newmont Mining, I don't know what's it at, $40. And it goes and it jumps up to 50. I would stopgap it at 48. And if it goes up to 60, then I'd stopgap it at 58. And when the crash happens, hopefully I get out when I want to get out. I don't know if it will work like that because the market makers have to sell it, have to buy it for me. I don't know if they'll do that, but that would be the plan. So every time it goes up, raise your stopgap. Now the idea is your stock went from 25 to 45. Stopgap 43. Now the market crashes. Theoretically, you should be out at 43 and you don't lose. In the meantime, you're making good profits as the inventory of the gold and silver goes up. That would be my recommendation. I am not in the market. I am waiting for the crash. We don't know when, but we're waiting for the crash. We know it's going to happen. We know why. So instead of playing around with that, I'm just buying gold and silver, as I know you are. A few of the miners up 40% over the past month. Today, my mining stock portfolio up 5.7 collectively. Stock portfolio was up 5.75 collectively. Silver was up 6.3. Well, silver's up 6% on the silver. So silver is up roughly 6% today, right? Now, is there going to be profit? Is there going to be profit taking here or in your stock I would guess your stock because it's more easy to profit take it than it is this. Although this isn't a much premium, this is. The gold premium really prevents you from profit taking. You could sell it at 24.13, but if you wanted to buy it back, which you do because you don't want to be in dollars, you're gonna pay 2,500, which is gonna hurt your profit taking. So 575 is good on a day that gold's up 35 and silver's up $1.75 or 6% and 1.5%. But 1.5% on gold is huge because it's at 24.13. All we care about is that at the end of today, and I think the market closes around 6, silver stays 31.40 and gold stays over 2,400, which it looks like it will. I'm hearing once 32 breaks, silver is headed to 35 quickly. Well, I heard once it hits 30, it's going to 35. So we saw it today. It hit 30, it went to 31. Just like, now it's at 31.43. My guess is we'll definitely have 35 soon. And in gold, gold's next move will be 2,500 to 3,000. So we're looking for $3,000 gold. The 28th of May is when I think they're going to start doing the gold back currency. I'll double check that. Silver ATH is 48. Once it breaks that to the moon. What's an ATH? Is that a stock? What's ATH? Oh, all time. That's paper silver. I don't care about paper silver. Forget about paper. We're looking at physical, and that's what the Shanghai Gold Exchange is. So in China, they're buying all this and they're pricing it at physical. We're doing is paper. So in paper world, 48 is the all-time high. We don't give a fuck because we're not playing with paper. We're playing with physical. You got 2 big boxes of it, right? I got some. I'm not looking. It ain't even close to where it's going is 2,000 an ounce. I don't care about 48. And I'm looking at physical. Wonder how fast it can get there. Well, gold, were you talking gold at 3,000? Well, once you got, okay, there's 5 new countries that want to join BRICS. South Korea. What's that one? Indonesia, Kuala Lumpur, Egypt. And there was, I can't think of the other 2. I just saw a video on it. Plus the other 40 countries that want to join BRICS. So you're going to have 80 countries in BRICS, none of them wanting to use the dollar, all needing gold for membership. So think of it like this. Putin, you ring the doorbell, there's Putin. And he says, oh, well, I need your 1,000 ounces. I need your 1,000 tons of gold to enter. You want to join BRICS? 1,000 tons of gold. Thank you very much. And off he goes. And so they're all buying and buying and buying, but there isn't anything left. Of the 255,000 tons, there ain't nothing left. It's gone. It's all China, Russia, BRICS, Saudi Arabia. They bought it all. Africa, they got tons in Africa. So what you're going to be buying is something that you're going to have to buy from Russia or China probably. And it's just not, it's going to be more costly, right? If I bought mine, why? Somebody asked me, Greg or John, so I show him this and he goes, I'll give you 100 for it. I go, it's worth 7. Why would I take 100? And I won't take 7. When gold hits 20,000, this is 5,000, then I'll think about selling, not before, because it's way undervalued. Unless it's like a medical thing for one of the girls or something, it's not going to be, this is not to be sold at these cheap prices. See, I know the prices are cheap. Most people are looking at, like what you're doing is the all-time high of silver is 48. So they're going to be cashing in their silver And you're like, no, not at 48. Wait till it hits 1,000. Then you want to cash it in. And these people don't understand it. That's why there's gold at the jewelry store for me. That's where I buy. I go to a jewelry store. It's a coin and jewelry store. It's people coming in and selling it. And it's a shake my head moment. What are you doing selling your gold at these low prices? And they don't understand their low prices. So anyway, that's where you're at. So I would put you have most of your money in there. I would go into a stopgap. So by stopgapping, you're fine. I'm gonna find this transcript of. Let me find the transcript of this. Hey, Greg and John. Highest price $31 for silver in 11 years since 2013. That's when I started investing. So you started at $31, not at $5 and $6 like a lot of people did. I started at $15. I bought a lot of Highland Mint, Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, Highland Mint. I collected cards. Then they started coming out with these silver and two-tone coins. And I like coins, so I bought a bunch at $15. So an Emmett Smith and a Marino, they're all worth like $80 before. Now that silver's starting to spike, they'll be worth a lot more because it's not only an ounce of silver, it's Jerry Rice. I got a Jordan, which is worth a ton, and a Kobe. But the idea is I bought them $15 an ounce. My mistake is there was a gold Jordan card. I don't know what it was going for, $500-$600 ounce of gold of Jordan. Jeez. Anyway, gold was $250 an ounce at that point. So been a bloodbath for me the entire time. Lost shitloads in miners. Well, I told you how I played the miners. I played Newmont mining, and I would wait for that 10 o'clock drop till 10:30, maybe sometimes 11. And then as it started to come back up, as I would buy it on the algorithm. So I knew the algorithm was going down. I didn't know when it would stop, so I'd wait for it. When it finally stopped and started turning up, I knew the algorithm would take me higher, and I would buy, and I'd buy 1,000 shares. Yeah, $45 a share. And I just simply waited. And when I saw, and I'm at work, refreshing, going, is it going down? Is it going down? Nobody watching. And then as it started about 2 o'clock, it started 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it would start kind of going sideways, sideways maybe. Then as it started to drop, I'd get out. If I made 30 cents, it's 1,000 shares. I made 300 in a day, in a few hours. Sometimes I got 70 cents. Sometimes I got $2. Sometimes I didn't get out. It never came down. So I stayed in it. And then the next day it was up $2. So I made $2,000 in 5 minutes just watching the stock go up. I'd have some bad days when it would double dip me. So it would go down, it would start coming up. I'd get in, and then it would double dip. And then I had to wait a few days for it to finally get back. That's how I played stock, because it's all made off anyway. It's all controlled. So you cannot play it long term. You got to get in and get out. And I would recommend that with your silver stocks. But it's all price fixed. So had you known it was price fixed and it's worse than Madoff, you might have played it. You might not have. I did buy some gold, but I bought this, and I bought, I had a couple of these and a half ouncer, but I were buying, my ex kept taking us to card shows. So we put all our money into the cards. Fortunately, I got smart and got Montana rookies and Earl Campbell rookies. So I might actually make more money on those cards than I would have on the gold. But I should have got more gold, but then I got divorced, so I probably would be in the same spot anyway. Let's see. It's about the 20 some. Let's see, just a second. I'm reading the transcript. He says later on, I'm trying to find it, basically that on here he says cartel attempts to force selling below 2300 spot will become much more difficult, as is this June contract premiums that rely on to gain the CTAs shrink to equal to spot as we move into options expiry on the June. Here we go. So let's go into this, the 7-minute mark.
COMEX speculators become vulnerable for a delivery. So what that means is that the cartel attempts to force selling below 2300 spot will become much more difficult. And as this June contract premiums that they rely on to game the CTAs
Just a second, Luke, I'll answer your
shrinks to equal to spot as we move into options expiry on this June contract on the 28th of this month. Now, the future spread to spot has contracted from, it was 25 bucks when this contract rolled onto the board, and it's currently about $4.90 today. So their paper flywheel to risk-free game COMEX CTAs is rapidly evaporating. So we're really trying to draw attention to how that works. And by no coincidence, last week, CTA-driven gold futures low was reversed at, guess what, 2,360 cents futures. And this was for the reasons just outlined. And of course, it wasn't revisited. However, given the accruing T+2 overhang, the equally large central bank buy stops that they were attempting to cap at spot gold 2350, which was above the market, were tricked off into this strong Chinese buying in Asia. So they got caught both sides. Now, liquidity providers see that this NSFR compliant T+2 physical delivery overhang now really far exceeds the ability for officials to offset the outflows of this resulting 96% leverage unwind. And as this unbacked physically sought open interest exits the COMEX backdoor for physical delivery. That's what's happening. So constructed FOMC, non-farm payrolls, Fed speed, PPI.
Gets too technical, but so what he's saying is that COMEX is broken in gold, not yet silver, but gold. China's just buying them out. They got to have physical. China's buying all that. China's basically buying as much gold as they can get. China gets it, right? Gold makes the rule. You got the gold rule. China gets it. Russia gets it too. Putin gets it. So basically, COMEX is done because with the game they were playing, what you were saying, they can't play anymore because they have to have that T+2, where if China buys it, you got to give it to them. So you got to have the gold to play the game. And there's not a lot of gold left in COMEX, so they can't do the shorting. As we saw today, it really didn't go down much. 10 o'clock it went down $3 or $4. We've seen it go down 20. Luke, silver could go to $40 and then correct back to 27. I wonder if it will happen again. Can be volatile. How did you pick those numbers? Just out of thin air? If you have a USD fiat collapse and gold, silver commodities backed new BRICS currency, gold will revalue overnight. Oh, they're going to revalue gold 10,000 at least. If you're China and Russia, well, let's say you're Luke, and you've got 20,000 tons of gold, which is 32,000 ounces a ton. you want the gold price to go up or down? And if you know the U.S. doesn't have any gold and you hate the U.S. and want to get them, what gold price do you want? So I think it could get revalued overnight. We'll see May 28th. But my thought is the way it goes, it's fine. But it could get revalued. Once BRICS gets a hold of it, I wouldn't be surprised. But the Shanghai Gold Exchange is physical. And once COMEX blows up, I think you'll see the revaluation. And we know how much Xi and Putin like money, or like gold. So we will see it. Saudi Arabia obviously wants a higher gold price so they can sell their oil for gold. All these countries running into, join BRICS because they want the gold. Funny how everybody wants the gold but the U.S. And I was watching something on the U.S. where they say, well, if they buy gold, then everybody will realize the dollar's not worth as much because they're buying gold. And I'm like, I think that they get the point that the dollar isn't worth anything now. I think the only thing the U.S. can do is buy gold. But so he's trying to say if they buy gold, they're saying the dollar's worthless. Well, fella, the cat's out of the bag. We realize it's worthless. That's why everybody's joining BRICS. Greg and John, I got some silver, Luke. Just need to get more into it. Well, look, Greg and John, you don't have any time left. You can see what's happening. It's only going up from here. So no, to answer your question, gold will revalue overnight. Well, it could, but it's just going to keep going up and up. There won't be COMEX won't be able to block it. So if you just let it go and you just let it buy, it'll be 10,000 easily. What you have is COMEX putting in these, let's do a derivative and lower the price because that's what the Fed wants because they want to keep the strong dollar. But meanwhile, if you got rid of that, gold would be 20,000 an ounce. With this inflation already, it'd be at least that. So to answer your first question, Luke, silver could go to 40 and then correct back to 27. I don't know what 27 means, but okay. I wonder if it'll happen again, can be volatile. You're talking again in the paper world. Now, silver is a little more volatile. It's not a tier one asset like gold, which means gold's better than T-bills. It's how much derivatives can the Fed issue? So gold will never pull back. You'll never see gold at 2,000 an ounce. I don't think you'll see it at 2,200 an ounce. They tried to get it down under 23 and they couldn't. And now it's 24 on its way to 3,000. So I don't think you'll ever see gold under 2,200. And as it keeps going, you won't, when it hits 2,500, you'll never see gold at 2,300 again. Because there's too much buying in it. Silver's a little differently, but it's more. China and India are hugely into solar panels, which takes a lot of silver, as well as obviously the electric batteries, which that's done. I mean, that's so over electric cars is just a scam, as I tried to warn you. And that if you have Tesla stock, I'd get the hell out of it. He's trying to colonize Mars. What's this guy out of his freaking mind? That's such bullshit. Oh, yeah, I want to live on Mars. Oh, yeah, there's no oxygen or food or water, but what the hell? I'm sure it'll store well with no gravity, and it's a red planet for a reason. And God knows who's up there, right? A bunch of predators and aliens and stuff. So not interested in running to Mars. So will it go from 40 to 27? I don't think so. I think once it goes, it'll get to 35. I don't think you'll see 27 again. And then it'll roll into the 40s. I don't think you'll see 35 anymore. They've tried to keep it down. They just don't have any silver left. There's no silver in the inventory of COMEX and or the ETFs. So that's what they've been doing, is selling that. But as these companies need silver and there's a huge demand, like I said, China and India, they're not even going to go to COMEX. They're just going to go around, and it wouldn't surprise me if BRICS also has silver. It wouldn't surprise me at all. They're very smart. They know the value of gold, and I'm sure they know the value of silver. So I don't think it'll go from 40 to 27. I wouldn't profit take it. It's such a small number. But again, it could, as long as it's in paper, it has a chance to do it. But I wouldn't think so. I don't think you're going to see 27 now. Let's see what happens. It's 31 and change, and it's not going down. We'll see what happens Monday, but I don't think so. I think you're good at this price, and it's next stop's 35, not 27. I think if it hits 40, it might back, it might back down to 38. You can get more profit taking in silver because of the premium, only a couple dollars. So if you bought it at $10 an ounce and now it's at 40, yeah, well, let's profit take. Oh shit, I don't want to be in dollar. That's right. I got to go buy it again, but the premium's lower. So you're hoping what? Where's it going to go? $40 to where? It just got pushed up to 40 because of demand, right? So as long as it's demand pushing it up and not bullshit, it's just you'll see 35 ahead of 30. Is it going to be profit taking Monday? We'll see. We can get by Monday. We'll see 35. Maybe you'll see 33, but I don't know. Again, gold's much easier because it's tier one and they need to have the physical, but that is not in silver COMEX, just gold. So gold, you're not going to see drop any more gold, but silver, maybe, but the demand's huge. So if it is, it's very temporary. So if it goes from 40, I doubt it'll go to 27. I would say maybe 35, maybe, but I think it's headed to 50 before it's headed back down. So no, people, what's going to happen in logic terms? You want to buy gold. So Greg John wants gold, and he wants to pay me $100, and this is 700. So I say, Greg John, 700. So Greg John says, well, that's too expensive. But silver here is $31, and with premium, $33. So I can get silver for $33 versus this quarter ounce of gold for 700. So he runs and buys silver, and that demand is going to peak as all these other people in our Euro buddies and our Swiss franc buddies and our British pound buddies, as well as our US morons, start realizing it's worthless and they need to get gold and silver, and they're going to run to gold and they're going to see it at 3,000 and say, I can't fucking afford it. I mean, at 3,000, I can maybe afford a quarter ounce, but you know what? Silver's $35 an ounce, 37 with the premium. Yeah, I can buy, give me a couple thousand of those. And that's what'll happen. No, I didn't say, I don't pay attention to the Dow. That's just the Fed printing money, putting it in, trying to say, look at our economy. Yeah, we know gold's going through the roof and silver, but look at, because it's all psychological. So people would panic if the Dow went down to 10,000 where it's going. But because people are used to 1929, right? What happened? Oh, the stock market crashed. The economy went to shit. So they correlate the stock market with the economy. The stock market is nowhere near, but a lot of it is people getting out of dollars, getting out of the banks and going into the stock market, as well as our JP Morgan friend printing and putting it and buying stock. That's why those 5 stocks are doing well. Amazon and Alphabet and Microsoft and those are doing well because it's all pushed up, because that's where the fake money is going to look at the 40 grand. But if you broke into the stocks, are any stocks up besides those 5? I don't think so. So you can look at the number, dig in and see, but it's just bullshit because they're trying to say, look, The market's up. The economy's good. I'm still waiting to get hired on the job from 3 weeks ago that I aced the interview, and I emailed the girl on Monday. Well, have you made a decision yet? She hasn't gotten back to me, which means it's not a no. They're still debating. Well, if the economy is great, what are you worried about? So the economy is terrible. But if they don't tell you, then you won't believe it. So no, I didn't see 40K, but that's good. I saw Bitcoin in the mid 60s. So until that crashes, I did did you see my video on the dark web and Bitcoin yesterday? If you're not, I'll do it again. What we need is silver, gold to outperform the stock market. Well, the difference is when the stock market crashes, gold and silver won't crash. Everybody will run into gold and silver. And gold and silver is worldwide. It's all the central banks, China and Russia. It ain't going anywhere. The stock market is basically the US. It's not the global, right? And then when you look at it, I just had a good thought, and I'm trying to remember what the hell I just thought. So people run into a safe haven in the stock market, right? They think, oh, I'm going to make 15% or 20, and it won't crash. You know, how can it crash now? Look how good we're doing because Joe Biden said so. But look at all the Chinese population bought 20,000 tons of gold. And she's saying, don't worry, I'll guarantee it. I'll guarantee it won't go under 2,000 or whatever it is. And what was my thought? Lost my thought. Anyway, that you'd rather be in gold and silver than stocks. But again, it's that. So, you got to realize that the government's pushing money into the stock market to raise it, right? But in gold and silver, what are they doing? They're trying to derivative to keep the price down. So you're fighting this, let's raise the price of the market with let's keep the gold silver price low. And even what they're doing it, we're still 2,431 gold and silver. And they can't because it's worldwide, not US. Stock market, they can manipulate. China stock market crashed, Japan stock market crashed. I don't think Russia has a stock market. Germany's in trouble. All these countries going bankrupt. Zimbabwe came out with a gold-backed currency. Venezuela's socialist. They're fucked. So keep that in mind. You have to realize that. So we're understanding the game is that as much as they try to keep the price of gold and silver down, they can't. And that's what Mark McGuire is saying is basically you can't keep the price down. It's broken. China's broken it because the new rule, Basel III, says if you try to do the derivative and somebody buys it, China, you have to sell it to them. So now what are you supposed to do? So before they wouldn't even sell anything. They would just do a derivative without any gold. And then the other company would buy it and it would just go around in a circle, as he calls the ring fence. And that's what would happen. Now China's stepping in going, no, we want the gold. And now they're fucked. They can't keep doing it. They don't have the gold. They don't have that much gold left. Especially what China's buying. So it's just a matter of time till they're done. And I think it's this end of June or the end of May, COMEX is gone. Gold. The silver will still be there, but the demand for silver is huge. And the demand, and people aren't calling it, it's money. So people are saying, well, it's needed in electric cars for the batteries, it's needed in the solar panels. It's money. It's still money. And, pretty soon Bobby can tell his kids, by the way, yeah, you asked me about how do I use gold at the grocery store? And my answer to him was, well, how are you going to use this at the grocery store when it doesn't have a value? So anyway, let's see. The Dow broker. Yeah. Okay. Look, only up 0.34% the Dow. Well, that's because it's starting at 38,000. They probably did it on purpose because precious metal is breaking out. Well, of course, they did it on purpose because they want people think precious metals goes up because the dollar goes down. They don't realize it's just an asset like my Mahomes card. It's really no different. It's like a Rolex. Why does the dollar have to go down for gold to go up? Then it becomes absolutely they did it on purpose. And you know, you said you saw zero on bricks. I just showed you two. You know, Mark McGuire here and that other one about bricks announcing gold-backed currency. So that's definitely there. I like Bitcoin, but the gold and silver more. Well, again, Bitcoin, I'm going to show you this dark web thing, and you won't like Bitcoin anymore. You used to have 6 Bitcoins, so I guess you made money. I bought all this physical and have no clue how I'll ever sell it all. You'll be so happy selling. You just go to the store. You come here to 9 and 5 Mile in Hagerty. You can sell it all to him. He'll give you a check for it. When I'm there, that's what people do. They sell it right to him. You can just go to any coin store. He will give it to you because that's their inventory to sell. But you're going to get spot for it. That's why I say don't sell it now. Wait for it to go up. But the other thing you're going to do with all your silver is you're going to take 10 ounces of silver and buy more gold with it. And then you give it to your kids, and the kids will be millionaires, or won't even be millionaires, be more than millionaires. That's the beauty of it. You can't lose on gold and silver. It can't go down in value, especially with all the shit going on and this gold-backed currency. You won't go down in value. Now, what are they going to do? You hope it's free market. They just let it go, and they're just anchoring it to gold. So they're saying, "Oh, this money's backed by gold." So I think the higher the gold price, I think the better it is for the money. That's what they should do, is just let gold run and anchor it, and then you don't have to worry. Nixon in 1971 can't print anymore. Well, if you would have played it right, you wouldn't have had to print anymore. The gold price would have jumped up, and you would have had more money to print because the gold would be worth more. I don't understand fixing the gold to $32 or $35 an ounce. Yeah, you'll have fun trying to sell it. You don't need to sell it, Luke. Will the coin shop swap physical silver for gold? Sure, why not? You know, well, okay, so let's say it's 10 to 1. So $1,000 silver, $10,000 gold. So you walk in with 10 ounces of silver, he's going to give you $10,000 because that's the spot. And there's 2 ways. So either you just say, here, can I have an ounce of gold for it? Or he'll give you a check for 10 grand and you'll hand it back to him saying, I'll take the ounce of gold. One or the other. Now, maybe he has to 1099 you for the silver, maybe not. But we'll see. I guess it depends on the store, but that's theoretically, if they equal, then here's 10 ounces. I'm going to pay for the ounce of gold with 10 ounces of silver. It's the same price. So I don't know why they won't. I guess it depends on the guy, but I don't see why not. He's getting $10,000 unless he doesn't want any more silver, which I can't imagine why. It'll be so hot in demand. So all I know is my guy, I know I can sell the silver and the gold at my guy's store. And, well, put it this way. I had my wedding ring and a gold bracelet. I took it to him and I gave it, I weighed it up. How much is it worth? It was worth about $1,000. I took it and bought a half ounce, and I got a half ounce of gold for it. And I think I got $20 back. So he did do that. with jewelry. He did take the jewelry and gave me, and I said, I'd rather have the coin, and I got a half ounce. So it sounds like they would. Um, Instead of giving me money, he just simply gave me the half ounce gold, and we're all happy. So yeah, I don't know why not. At worst case, you get the money, and then you go and say, here, give me the ounce of gold then, if that's what you want. We'll have to see if there's 1099s and if on what, and then if it's a limit of 10,000, so you trade 9 ounces of silver for 9 grand, no tax, and then you bring out the 10th one. So, okay, now how about if I do this one for a grand and then I buy the gold? I mean, something like that. Amazing TK, you so great at this class. When you doing your T Clay class? I'm waiting to get people. I'm still trying to get enough like marketing and advertising and get people to sign up for it. But as soon as they do, I'll do the class. But see, you don't see me look at notes because I don't need notes. I know it, right? There's a point when you know it, when you memorize it, and when you know it. And I know this, so that's why you don't see me looking at notes. Once in a while, just on a spelling or on a, just to I make sure I say it right, like the 5 properties of a country and the 5 or 6 properties of money and what money is, what inflation is. But it's all simple. So again, the real reason is because they're printing this shit to death. It won't have any value. But everybody gets worried. Oh my God, we're going into depression. In dollars, get the fuck out of dollars. And if you come out with a gold-backed currency like Zimbabwe's fucking doing and BRICS, you wouldn't have a recession or a depression, and you'd never have inflation again, and nobody would ever lose their job again because it would be stable. Everybody would have a gold-backed currency, and everybody would be great, except for the elitists who can't run everybody, control everybody, and do all that shit. Maybe with the restructuring of the financial system, banks will accept physical for the new currency. Well, if we go to a gold, the new currency, if it's still fiat, if it's still backed by nothing, it won't have a value. It won't last. What you need is this to be gold backed. So I'll say this is like the gold back, the silver here. So if the euro comes out with gold back, then yeah, you should be able to go to the bank and say the spot price of gold is this. Whatever you want. I mean, you're only gonna want gold currency. You don't want this. When you sell your gold and silver, you do not want this. This is worthless. This is toilet paper. So when you want to sell, silver's $1,000 an ounce, you want to sell it. You don't want this. You're going to want, we pretend this is gold back. So let's say this is silver back. This is what you want. You want the BRICS gold back currency or the Zimbabwe gold back currency. You do not want this shit. So unless you want to pay rent or a medical expense or something, you don't want to sell it. This is not something. It's really not an investment. It's like a super investment. So it's not like you buy Microsoft at 100 and goes to 150 and you're going to profit take. And this is, I'm getting out of dollars, so I'm going into gold and silver. Therefore, I don't want to sell it to get back into this shit. I want to stay away. So that's why I use Titanic. So you're in the lifeboat, right? You're in the lifeboat. I was going to make sure they're up. I'm in the lifeboat. Do I want to get out of the lifeboat and go back in the Titanic? No, I just got out of the Titanic. I got out of this to get into the lifeboat. So you don't want to get out of the lifeboat and go back on the Titanic, right? So you're looking for another boat. You want the Carpathian or some goldback boat that you can, you'll be okay with. That's the key to it. So you are looking to do that. That's why there won't be CBDCs, because of banks. If you have a central bank digital currency, do you need Chase Manhattan and Wells Fargo? Why? You don't need it and with gold-backed currency, they can't just print money out of thin air. So you can't do a loan, right? The loan will be in gold-backed currency, so there would be no interest on it. So you want to buy a house, once there's gold and it's gold-backed currency, there is no interest you pay on your house. You want to buy a $300,000 house, take out a loan, zero interest because it's all in gold. And the reason you charge interest is the printing and the inflation of the dollar, which you can't have with gold. You can't print only as much gold as you have is what you can print. So that's not going to happen. But you're just going to take your couple ounces of gold and buy a house. That's what I keep telling you. Everything will look what BRICS is doing, right? Gold-backed currency. So your biggest question is going to be at your job, what are you guys paying me? I know what I'm making in dollars, but the dollar isn't worth anything. Now what are you going to pay me? And it better be this. So you're going to want to get paid in this. I told Bobby to do that because he gets that, $1 million a year for the rest of his life. And I told him to ask him for gold. Say, I want to get the equivalent in gold and get 20 ounces of gold a year as in lieu of the $1 million, and he'll be way ahead. I told him he got screwed, whoever made the contract up, because the $1 million. So let's say it's $1 million for 35 years. So let's say it started, I don't know, in 2000 and it went to 2035. Well, the $1 million you got in 2000 is worth a lot more than the $1 million he's getting this year, because this year's million is worth about 200,000. So he should fire his attorney or whoever negotiated that contract, because he had his head up his ass. And if he'd have come to me in 2000, even though he didn't know me, I would have said, you want it in gold. Take it in gold, young man. And he'd be owning an island right now. So I don't see, since banks run the government, I don't see where JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo are not going to be players in it. That's why there won't be CBDCs. And the central bank is not set up to give us money, right? It might be set up to give the banks money, and then we go to the bank to get a CBDC. But there's no way the central bank is going to handle 360 million people setting up accounts. There's no fucking way that's possible. So we could go to Chase and open up. But I think it's going to be like Bitcoin, where you have the option. You could go into Bitcoin, or you don't have to. Or we can go into gold, which is 100 times better than Bitcoin. So I think that option's there. This will always be their gold. And nobody knows that you have it. You don't pay a savings, interest expense on your tax, because you don't have any interest expense. You're not paying. You're not doing anything. There's no capital gains. I don't own any gold, and that's the beauty of gold. It really deflects a lot. So let me show you this dark web thing that.
Feels like a dream, feels like magic. Now I believe I can have.
Shut the fuck up. All right, I think it's at the 28-minute mark, but maybe not. Just a second. Here's AI, music, MUSIK. Unbelievable. I think it's 28 minutes. All right, let's go to the 26-minute mark. Okay, this is for mature audiences only.
You can list products and receive money for products, all anonymous.
This is the dark web.
When I was working on the sort of great project of my life back in 2013, and trying to figure out things like how could I get this archive of material to journalists? So how could they see things in a safe way that's uncontrolled? There's a question of, well, do I need server infrastructure of my own? Maybe the answer is yes. Okay, how do I pay for that anonymously? Maybe someone like me may have used Bitcoin for something like that.
This is 0.4 of a Bitcoin for a Dutch passport. That would be about 4,500 given today's rate of Bitcoin, which is about 10,000 for one Bitcoin. Yeah, we accept all cryptocurrencies.
No cash.
Cryptocurrency is definitely the payment choice. So that is my Bitcoin wallet. And this gives me the QR code. If someone else wants to send me Bitcoin, they just scan this QR code, and then it goes to my Bitcoin address, and then the Bitcoin will come to my account. Bitcoin can be used for many legitimate things, many legitimate reasons. It just happens to also be the number one choice for people selling things on the dark web. There's no way of tracking it. Or there's no way of tying a cryptocurrency wallet or address to a person. Traditionally, a lot of crime has been caught by busting the trail of money, because money always leaves quite a trail.
แต่สมมุติว่าเป็นเงินฝากตัวเขารู้แบงค์รู้หลายคนรู้สามารถตรวจสอบได้แต่ที่นี่คือตัวเขาเองเท่านั้น
This is a guy in Thailand.
จะเห็นว่าการค้าเนี่ยมันเหมือนเป็น virtual มันไม่ใช่เป็น actual มันเป็น virtual ไม่ว่าการค้ายาเสพติดข้อมูลในไฟล์ต่างมันอยู่ในอากาศทั้งหมดเลย
So you can send millions of dollars to someone else in the other end of the world and receive goods in return without anyone in between actually seeing or knowing. The growth of cryptocurrencies, it's been very much pitched directly on the growth of the dark web and financial services on the dark web.
Jesus. I hate these commercials right in the middle of a sentence. Motherfuckers. Silk Road, Alpha Bay.
People have been selling drugs and other illicit goods on the web pretty much since the 1990s. So what was different with Silk Road? Well, what was different with Silk Road is that it tried to provide what I would call an end-to-end anonymity platform. It combines network anonymity through the use of Tor, so that an observer cannot tell which machine is connecting to which server to do those transactions.
So you're dealing with the FBI and Silkward and Alpha. So basically, I think you get the point. To answer your question, Luke, well, the difference is we don't want to trade it. I want to get the coin. I don't really want to get a digital dollar. I want to hold it. That's just me. And again, I'm older. I'm used to holding my money and think I'm stupid if I get digital, right? So gold can trade as easy as Bitcoin over the blockchain. Well, what you'll do is you'll probably be able to pay for things. The idea is you want to buy oil near China from Saudi Arabia. you're going to pay them in the gold backed currency, whatever it is. That's the initial intent of the digital, is to buy oil from Saudi Arabia or natural gas from Russia or all these countries. This way, instead of sending a check and going through SWIFT, you just do that. Going to the grocery store or stuff, I think that'll be like you're doing now with your debit or credit card. I think your money will be in the account. So when you get paid, you'll get the direct deposit, but it'll be gold backed currency instead of the worthless toilet paper we get. And then you go buy something, and there's you use your debit card. And in fact, the credit card shouldn't charge you interest. Well, maybe it will. Shouldn't, because it's gold. So they don't need to get paid back more. Although it is a means to getting paid back. Maybe there'll be a slight interest charge. But it'll be a blockchain, but it'll be, again, like I said, digitally to pay for oil from Saudi Arabia. That's what it'll be. But are you going to, because I don't know if they'll be set up. They're probably, everybody's set up with debit and credit cards. So you can't really, what are you going to do? Change all that? So you go to Kroger's and you pay them with debit or credit card. And it's the same thing. It'll just be, there'll be gold. They'll be pulling gold out of your account instead of, so all this will be gold, right? So this will be a $5 gold. You get paid in it, and you go to Kroger's and you're going to use this to buy it with your debit or credit card. You don't need the cash. So they're trying to weed us off cash, which is fine. But we don't care. I mean, this is fine. This works fine. But that's where you want to get to. So I think you'll use your debit and credit card hooks to your bank account, which is now gold instead of paper. And that's probably the way it's designed to work. But I don't see them getting away from banks. However, banks will change, because what do they do now? You give them $100 and they go loan out 99 of it, right? Oh, you need a car? Well, I'll write up a loan. I don't have any money, but I'll write up a loan. That's where the inflation is. Everybody thinks it's the government. The Fed printing is the inflation. It's the banks issuing these bullshit loans out of thin air that they don't have the money for, right? They don't. You go buy a house and it's $300,000, and you go get a loan from Chase to buy it. They don't have $300,000. They don't have anything. They're loaning you $300,000 of money out of thin air. And then on top of it, you get to pay them interest for the money that they didn't give you because they don't have it. It's just bullshit. So what the Fed does is not the inflation that everybody thinks it is. It's the banks, is the fiduciary inflation is the killer. How you have $36 trillion in debt, $35 trillion in debt's beyond me. How do you owe yourself? And that's just, nobody wants the treasuries. And we keep spending more than we're taking in. So it's just, it's a fantasy land in the government where they just, let's give Ukraine $800 billion. We don't have $800 billion. So without having that much money, how are you giving it to, where are you getting it from? We're just going to print it out of thin air. That's the problem, right? They don't have it, and they want to give them $800 billion because it's going to be money laundered back, and $700 billion will come back to the Northrop, and all the defense contractors are like, here's 10% for you, Biden, you put your 10%, Pelosi, you get your 10%, and then Zelensky gets his 10%, and it's such bullshit. But that's why they're fighting, because if they get gold, they can't do that shit. You can only do what you have. If you only have so much gold, that's all the dollars you can. And if you don't have gold, you're fucked, because you so what are you going to do? Digital or regular? It's toilet paper. Digital currency not backed by gold is no different than this. It's toilet paper. It's worthless. So don't go because it's a central bank or digital that they can just keep printing as much as they want. Yeah, that doesn't work. Ends up being worthless. I think Trump will win and go back to a gold standard. If he has gold to do it with, I would agree with you. We need it. We should never have gotten off of it. I like how Nixon in 71, well, it's temporary. Yeah, it's only going to be for 50 years. Temporary. We have no choice, especially with BRICS going gold and having all this gold. You have no choice, but you don't have 8,000 tons of it to just pull out of it. And, everybody says how we have the most. Well, China's got 60,000 tons of it. How is 8 more than 60? My math is not that bad. Oh, yeah, by the way, Putin's got about 25, 30. Okay, so that's ahead of us. India is probably over us. And by the way, our 8,000 is like zero. So we need to start buying gold to have the gold standard because we can't compete. Here's BRICS and here's us. Which would you rather have? The for sure gold that you can't print or the toilet paper that you print trillions and trillions and trillions on? So this cannot compete with this. BRICS has this, so you can't compete with them. Africa's going gold. Like I said, Indonesia, South Korea, I think it was Egypt, and one other is going gold. So it's sort of like college football. They're all going to the conferences. So there's the BRICS conference is like the Big Ten, and the U.S. is like the SEC. So we have Germany. We have all the failed countries: Germany, Italy, and the UK and Canada and us, and the SEC and in the Big Ten and the SEC. They got all the killers: China and Russia and South Korea and Saudi Arabia and Dubai and most of Egypt, add South Korea and Indonesia. You got a pretty good conference there. They're gonna win quite a few national championships. That's gonna be hilarious. So that's about what it's like. Is the Big Ten and the Pac-10. So it's BRICS and non-BRICS. And nobody's going to use the dollar. I mean, don't be silly to think that. So the stock market, I would imagine that Batman guy and the other morons are shorting the stock market. See, but what they should be doing is buying gold and silver. They're going the wrong way. Even when they shorted it, they should have been buying gold and silver in 2008 instead of shorting. And I'll make a market. Can you make a market for me shorting the housing crisis? Then they made the bankers look like a bunch of idiots. Oh, we don't know that nobody's paying on their things. How the fuck don't you know? They're paying you and you're not getting it in. Are you really that stupid that you don't know nobody's paying your housing loans? Come on. What the fuck? How stupid are the banks? So they get what they deserve. Professor, are you buying more silver? I got 625 ounces. I might buy a little bit more. I'm more motivated. Like I paid $550 for this and it jumped to $650. Now it's probably $7 to buy this and 1/10 of an ounces. I'd rather buy gold because it's much easier. 700. So if this is worth 7, how many ounces of silver do I need? And this goes up $30, $40 and silver goes up 10. I'm happy with the 615, 620, somewhere around that neighborhood of silver. It is very undervalued, but it's price fixed. So I'm going to get a bigger boom on gold until everybody runs off the Titanic and there's not enough lifeboats. And they all want the gold lifeboat, and the gold lifeboat's going to be very expensive to get on. And here's the silver lifeboat, and it's a little bit cheaper. And they go, well, I got to get off the boat. I'm going to get on the silver lifeboat. And that's when that'll start moving up. I just think it's easier. I mean, if we go to Barcelona or Switzerland, I want to have 5 ounces and a couple of these in my pocket, and nobody knows it. I do not want to have a big box of silver to equal the same amount. No, I'm not saying silver's bad, of course not. And I'm just saying for traveling purposes or for that. Silver is going to come in handy because you're just going to want to sell 5 ounces and get $10,000 for it and go to the grocery store and eat. And keep in mind, the price of everything will be so much cheaper. So right now, let's say you want a steak, a New York strip, and let's say it's $15 a pound. Do you realize once it's priced in gold, it'll be like $1? That's it. It'll be $1 of gold will buy you the steak that's now taking you 15 bullshit dollars to buy. I still think half the thing's way undervalued. When you really think how much the dollar's been destroyed, cars are cheap. All the food is very cheap because when you start looking at the value of the dollar, this is nothing. $5 is just like 50 cents for, tuna fish or whatever. If precious metals roll, we should go to Barcelona together and do it up. Sounds good. Bring Bobby. We got to find Bobby. I don't have his Bobby's information unless he comes here. I really hope he's okay. I have a feeling he's sick or some reason he can't come on. Because it'd be like, Luke, if you didn't show up, it'd be like, where are you? We're not mad at each other. There's no fight. There's no reason you wouldn't come on. And so that's how I am with Bobby. Like, even today he's usually on now, and we're going to talk football if we ever get done with gold. And I don't know. I know he was having medical issues that cholesterol was up, and I told him not to worry, just stay off the sugar and the carbs. So I really don't know where he is. He's never given me his email, although I've asked him for it, like you asked for the hospital, and he won't give it to me. But I fully believe it's Bobby. Nobody's gonna. I could see being Tom Brady or LeBron, and they're fake. But I don't see you're faking Bobby Bonilla. Maybe, but I really I don't see that. I feel it's Bobby. I can feel it when we're talking. Or steaks at Capitol Grill in Detroit. We can certainly do that, Luke. Well, I know where one is in Troy. I assume it's still there, but yeah, I love Capitol Grill. Actually, the best place for steak is in a nice hotel in Lviv, Ukraine. They had steaks there, or some restaurants in Romania were gourmet, incredible meals, and it was like I took my girlfriend there, and it was 160 Romanian lei. And then I had to do the math, and you divide by 4, it was $40 for like incredible steaks and salads and some drinks and some chocolate mousse and everything. I was in heaven. But that's Romania, really good food there. So that's where you at. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happened, but I think it's more of a medical health issue than anything else. There's no way he's staying away. He liked it. He was all excited for econ. So he was here for a good year and a half. So this is the problem. This is my fear for the girls. If something happens to me, I have no way of telling Daria or Jenna I'm not here anymore. So we need to figure out some signal of that. Plus, you got to come and get my gold and silver. So I got to figure out how to do that. That's why I try to eat well. Anyway, so let's see where gold ended at. As of As of 6:30, looks like it's still open. No, this is as of 5:15. We're at 6:50, so it's closed. Gold finished at 24.14, up 35. The high for the day was 24.19, so very good. And if you notice, that 10 o'clock hit never happened. It went down a little bit, from 24.05 to 23.98, and then immediately up to 24.20. Silver 31.43. It ended the day up $1.75. That's where we're at. Beautiful. So I think it goes from here to 35, and I think gold goes from here to 25 to 3,000. Definitely 3,000 is there. And there won't be much left for the Fed to fight. There's too much demand globally of all these. The more countries that join BRICS, the more want gold. The more need gold, and they're going to find it, and then it's gone, and they're going to have to pay more for it. Well, we need 1,000 tons to join BRICS. Where do we get it from? Oh, okay, we got to go to Hungary and get it, or somewhere, or Russia to get it. So that's what's going to happen. But China's buying it hand over fist. So yeah, I don't know where Bobby is. Very strange. Don't know. Well, we'll see. Football season, I'll be surprised if we don't see him then. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of taking Daria to Serbia. I'm a little surprised by Daria. Like, sometimes she doesn't talk to me, and I'm trying to figure out if it's a European thing. So she hasn't been on. She hasn't been on since 7:02 a.m. See, 7:02. That's this morning. It is now 6, and she's never not on. She might be talking to her mother or daughter or me, and she's normally working. Normally her day she works and then goes home and does dinner for the daughter and does homework with the daughter. That's her normal day. This is unusual that she hasn't been on at all, which would lead me to believe either she's traveling and there's no internet. Her friend has a Dasha up north or whatever in Russia, and they went to Easter, and she said there's not much internet here. And then she sent me pictures of Easter, which was May 5th. So maybe she's up there, but she apparently doesn't have internet. So maybe she's there for the weekend. But yeah, I don't get her when I don't hear from her for a few days. It makes me nervous because you think that she would be thinking of me, going, "Oh, okay, I gotta text him." So I've asked her, and normally it's like when she gets upset, she doesn't want to talk, which makes sense. The closest I can come to is my friend Lena when I was in the Ukraine. She was taking me to the airport, and then somebody wanted to take a picture of us, but she didn't have makeup on, so she's covering her face. And that's kind of how I relate to Daria, where she's not in a good mood. She doesn't want to talk to me. Sort of like the makeup's not on. I don't want to, see him. So that's as close as I could come to the analysis. But I hope to hear. Well, I don't know if I'll hear from her tomorrow. Probably not till Sunday night, if she's up at her friend's Dasha or whatever. We'll see. But anyway, we're waiting on the mother to give the okay, and we'll go to Serbia because being Russian, she can't go anywhere. She can go to Turkey, she can go to Dubai, and she can go to Serbia. So I'm going, let's go to Serbia. It looks nice, and we will see. But we're waiting for the mother to come and watch the daughter. She said, I can't leave the daughter home alone. And I'm like, okay. So then I said, well, why don't I come to Russia? And she said, no, I don't want you to come to Russia because I want to vacation with you. So sort of like Jenna. She doesn't want me to come to the Ukraine. She wants me to meet me in Barcelona or Portugal or somewhere. So that's where she's at with it. So I'm a little worried with Jenna, with the Russians are attacking. She's kind of out of the line of fire, but they are starting to cut the power during the day. So she says, I better go buy some groceries. There's going to be a trucker strike or an airplane, like in the country airplane strike. So it's such a big country. They probably get the food, they fly it over here, and then they, ship it around. So I guess there's going to be a strike. Going, hey, I want extra pay to get shot at by the by the Russians, but I don't think Putin's really not aiming at civilians, and he knows where everybody's at, so he doesn't want to take out her house and stuff like that. Only the Russian, Kharkov, Odessa's his next target. She doesn't live in Odessa, although Odessa's really a nice place. Anyway, so yeah, stakes of capital growth sound good. Okay, anything else? Gold, Bitcoin, COMEX. COMEX is gone. Gold, not much left. BRICS said yes, gold-backed currency. It sounded like the end of the month. And here we go. Russia's been testing it. Everybody's voting for it. Another 40 countries going to join BRICS. So it looks like a go, go, go. The end of the dollar until we come out. It's just a medium of exchange. So all we got to do is go from this dollar to a dollar backed by gold. That's all we got to do. It shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, you got 30 days to transfer this into dollars backed by gold. That's what Zimbabwe just did. So you had 30 days to go into your bank, take whatever you had in Zimbabwe crap dollars and exchange it for Zimbabwe gold-backed dollars. And they were dollars, but with gold. That's all you have to do. And they're called the ZIG. And life goes on very easily. You just reset the price of stuff in the grocery store and off you go. And it shouldn't be a big deal. Everybody's worried. Well, yeah, because the dollar's going to collapse, but you don't need the dollar. You just need a medium of exchange, and it's gold, and you're set. All right. So that's the bottom line there, Mr. Stone Cold. Let's go to foosball. Well, let's see the baseball. So I've given you the basketball and the baseball. So in the NBA tonight, my lock yesterday was Minnesota minus 2.5, and they won by 30. I was really excited. Today in the NBA, one game, I like Indy minus 5.5. It's game 6. It's a must win or they're eliminated. Look for Indy minus the 5.5. The Knicks know they can lose. Not a problem. There's one thing wanting to win. There's another thing having to win. And there's another thing knowing we can come back in game 7 at home. So we don't really have to win this game. And Indy goes, we do. We saw it happen. We had Pitt over 7.5 with the 10 unit, and it won 9-3 Pitt. So we get a W there. That was earlier in my first video. This morning I had talked baseball. Right, Greg and John? All right. Then we've got Philadelphia, Baltimore, the New York Yanks over 7.5, Toronto over 8.5, Cleveland under 8.5, the New York Mets, Atlanta, Texas over 9, Milwaukee, Boston, Detroit, the Dodgers, and Colorado. Now, the picks, the bets are the Yankees over 7.5, 10 units, Toronto over 8.5, 5 units, Atlanta, 5 units, Milwaukee, 5 units, and Detroit, 3 units, because I can't trust them. So usually it's all the pitching matchups. Pitt had, Chicago had Kyle Hendricks with his 10.57 ERA. And for some reason, they made the line 7.5. Vegas is so stupid on their totals. So they think, the Cubs and Pitt don't hit much. I don't know what they're thinking. But you got a pitcher with a 10.57 ERA and you put your over under at 7.5. That's why we bet it. It was a bad number and they scored 12. So it was an easy win. So that's your baseball. And you've got 15 minutes for the Washington Philly game, and then Baltimore's at 7. So again, I like Philly, Baltimore, the Yankees over 7.5, 10 units, Toronto over 8.5, 5 units, Cleveland under 8.5, the Jets, Jets, Atlanta, 5 units, Texas over 9, Milwaukee, 5 units, Boston, Detroit, 3 units, the Dodgers, and Colorado. So if I say units, like I said, Milwaukee 5, that's the 5-unit bet. But I didn't say it for Boston, and Boston's not a bet. I like them, but I'm trying to be selective who we take. All right, so let's go to the NFL. And we go to schedule. Who was this? Caleb, good luck with that. All right, week 1. We went through this yesterday, but I'm going to go through it again. So, first game is Thursday, 9-5 at 8:20, Baltimore and Kansas City. My line is KC -3 and about 44 over under. I like the game under. In the playoff game, you had Mahomes as a dog, and that anytime Mahomes is a dog, it's an automatic bet. Here, I don't like Lamar as a dog against this defense, but KC, are they in the midseason form yet? Baltimore does have revenge on its mind. I think this is a close game. I like the under with this KC defense. So you can bet defense, you can't bet offense. So you can't bet Lamar, but you can bet the defense. So I like under in this one. Green Bay, Philly on Friday from Brazil. What the fuck is that all about? I don't know who Philly is this year, to tell you the truth. They got in Barkley from the Giants. Hurts. So does that mean you don't want Hurts to run? Well, he can throw, so you're in big trouble with him. We'll see what it is. Devontae Smith isn't. See, they're good in college, but when they get into the pros, these Alabama guys, they're nothing special. See, in college, he'd run wide open and he'd catch all these passes. You go, wow, what a great thing. Yeah, in the pros, they're actually professional cornerbacks and safeties. You don't get open in the pros, but these guys don't know how to do that. So my guess is, since it's in Brazil, Green Bay is probably a 3 or 4 point favorite, over under upper 40s. Probably like the game over. Green Bay, very good scoring. Philly, who knows? We got to find out who their coaches are and go from there. But I like Green Bay. Green Bay is a high scoring team. I like that. Pitt in Atlanta, we've got Russell Wilson against whom? Penix or Cousins. Penix is better. It would be his first game, or Cousins. It should be his first game. How he's made it in the league he's terrible. He's worse than Goff, Cousins. What are they doing in Atlanta? So I like what they did picking Penix because he's the better quarterback. They probably didn't think he'd go till 8th. So when they saw him there, they took him. But Penix, he's a winner. He'll be good. So we got to see who the quarterback is. So right now it's probably an under game with Pittsburgh. We got to see how Russell Wilson develops. So Pittsburgh should be really good with Russell Wilson. Atlanta, if they have Penix, they have the running backs and receivers, always shaky on defense, and a very bad coach. So we will see. Arizona and Buffalo, we have Kyler Murray against Josh Allen. Love the game over. In Buffalo should be a 10-point favorite, over under 50. I like the game over. Tennessee, Chicago. This is a tough game. Both teams have terrible quarterbacks. Bears have a good defense. I like the game under. Being in Chicago and with Caleb bullshit, they'll make them a 3 or 4 point favorite. I do not like the Bears as a favorite at all with Caleb. He might actually look decent against Tennessee. I don't know how good their defense and a new coach, but I think this will be a very low-scoring game. I like it under. New England, Cincinnati. This should be your first blowout of the week. Cincinnati should be a 14-point favorite and win by 30. Burrow is pissed. He's finally coming back. And who is New England quarterback? Brissett or if it's Drake May, this is going to be a shutout. So if Brissett, they'll play him a little bit closer. If you can get under 7 with Cincinnati, take it. They're going to blow them out. What do you mean, am I doing football already? This is week 1. Well, we're getting into the mood. We finally got the schedule out. So I'm reviewing my week one. Yes. Houston at Indy. Again, we got to wait for injuries and what happens, but it's always fun. Houston injury and Indy. I like the dog in the game. Indy should be a 3-point favorite at home. If Houston's favorite, then I really like Indy. I don't know over or under. Both these teams are an enigma to me. Richardson stinks. Stroud's not much better. Defense, I don't know. I think Indy got a running back or something. Houston's just nothing. So I kind of like the dog in the game. Jacksonville, Miami. Miami will be a 7-point favorite. Well, they have the WFL or UFL or USFL or the Rocks League or whatever, Stone Cold League. That's what they need, the wrestlers to run the leagues. So Stone Cold team can play the Rock team. That and then they can wrestle after. Jacksonville, Miami. So Miami should be a touchdown favorite, over under 50. I like the game over. New Orleans, Carolina. New Orleans should be a 7-point favorite. New Orleans wins easy. Carolina's terrible. Worst team in the league. They probably won't win unless they play New England or Tennessee or Chicago or Minnesota. Minnesota and the Giants. Speak of the Devils, Minnesota, no quarterback except for whatchamacallit, the guy, Nick Mullins, pretty good last year, actually. New York, no quarterback, Daniel Jones, but they lost Shaquan Barkley. I think, didn't they get the running back from the Raiders? We'll have to see. This will be a very low-scoring game. I would think the Giants 3-point favorites. Over under in the mid-40s, I'd go under here. Oakland, San Diego, battle of the AFC West. Oakland needs a quarterback, but they have Brock Bowers. And they're going to use Brock Bowers as a tight end. They'll just play 2 tight ends. There's not a big deal to not play 2 tight ends. One will be your slot back, not your tight end. So Michael Myers will block, but Brock Bowers, how San Diego fucked up that pick is beyond me. You took a guard that you could have gotten the 3rd round. Guards don't do much. All right, guards don't do much, or tackle, whatever the hell you want to call them. They don't do anything. All I got to do is blitz or loop and play games, and they can't. What are they going to do? So I line up over this guy, and then I do a stunt. He ain't blocking him. He's just standing there going, "Who do I block?" And as your quarterback, sacked by the guy who did the stunt. Absolutely, the most overrated positions is offensive line crap. They always get blamed like it's their fault because the quarterback gets sacked because the quarterback can't read the fucking defense to know they're blitzing them. So I like the under in this game. Oakland with no quarterback. San Diego with Herbert, no receivers. Guess what? You don't have a tight end. You don't have a tight end, by the way. And you don't have receivers. Herbert's good. Harbaugh wants to play Michigan football. He's going to run it. He'll run it in the line 40 times for 40 yards against Oakland. They ain't gonna do anything. This should be a very good defensive game. So bet the game under. Denver, Seattle. Love what Bo Nix. He's a real deal. Great quarterback. Great draft. He comes down to 10. You're taking Drake May and McCarthy, and you leave Bo Nix. You got to be out of your fucking mind. Seattle, I don't like Geno Smith. I would imagine Denver should be a 3-point favorite here, but I would guess Seattle will be because it's at home. They still think the 12th man and Richard Sherman's still there. So if Seattle's a 3, I love Denver and 9. Absolutely. Otherwise, it's probably an over, but we got to see Bo Nix a little bit. Sean Payton, great offensive mind. Dallas and Cleveland. If Cleveland should be a 7-point favorite here. I love Cleveland. Cleveland's so much better than Dallas. Should be a low-scoring game. Who the hell is the quarterback here? We know Dak Prescott sucks, and Deshaun Watson sucks. Thompson Robinson would be the best choice for Cleveland. Dallas, they need to bring back Gary Hogaboom or somebody better than that. You got to be kidding. Dak Prescott's terrible. Washington at Tampa. Washington with Jalen Daniels and Sam Hartman. You watch Sam Hartman. He gets in there. He's going to light it up and say, fuck you guys. You didn't draft me. Tampa with the Baker, with the worst coach in the league. Decent defense, good receivers, no running back. Washington, no defense, no receivers, no running back. And I like Daniels for Bobby because he went to LSU. This is an under game at this point. We'll watch Daniels, see what he does. But I like the dog here. The Rams in Detroit. Detroit's first loss. Detroit will be 3 or 4 point favorites over under, probably upper 40s, 48, 49. I like the game over, and the Rams as a dog. As long as Stafford, Pukanuka, I don't care how many cornerbacks Detroit drafted. They can't cover Pukanuka because their defensive coordinator is still there who wants to play the 2 deep zone and not cover anybody. So don't think it was the cornerback's problem. It's the defensive coordinator. So until you get a new one, you're going to give up 30 points a game, but you can score. I don't know. This will be interesting with the Rams. Without Arnold, they drafted a lot of good defensive players. So I like the Rams as a dog in the game, and I like the over. And the last game, the Jets against the 49ers. 49ers should be a 7-point favorite, over under 42, 43. I like the game under. Aaron Rodgers is a pretty live dog if he can last more than one play. I don't want to fuck with the Niners, but it should be a low-scoring game. So I'm going to go under. And don't forget the Jets coach is the defensive coordinator for the Niners for a few years. He knows how they play. He knows how to get to Brock Purdy. So I think this is a very low. This should be a tight 20-17 type of game. So if it's mid-40s, we can go under 50. There we go. So that's week 1 very quickly. I went through it yesterday, but I don't like it on the phone. So what are we looking for? Well, nothing with Baltimore and KC. Maybe KC's new receiver, but that's tough. Green Bay, we know. Philadelphia, Saquon Barkley and Hurts. Pittsburgh, Atlanta, how is Russell Wilson going to play here? I think he'll be fine. Atlanta, who's their quarterback, and how does he look? Arizona, Buffalo, we got Kyler Murray and Josh Allen. Tennessee, Chicago, we got 2 terrible quarterbacks. The guy, what's his name, Hovis or for Tennessee, and then Caleb, you're playing a real defense here. You're going to be in trouble, and you don't have the Oklahoma offense. You got a terrible offense. So look for this game to be very low scoring, but we're looking for or Will Levis. That's what it is, Hovis. So Will Levis, he stinks. I don't get that. And the Bears, Caleb, bust already. Maybe Notre Dame will come into town and play him. Let him throw 3 picks. So this will be interesting, but don't get fooled into thinking Caleb's any good. New England, Cincinnati. Well, we got to watch who's their quarterback. Probably Brissett. There's no way Drake May starts here against Burrow. Burrow ate him alive, but Brissett's pretty good. It's funny. He started with New England, then he went around the block, and now he's back. Houston, Indy, C.J. Stroud against Richardson. We know it's Stroud. We watched Ohio State, Michigan enough, and then Indy, Richardson. I don't know what he's doing in the league. I mean, he wasn't better than the guys that were drafted this year, the 6 or 7 quarterbacks. He's not better than Hartman. I'm surprised Indy didn't take him. See, they all love it. Oh, I drafted this kid, Richardson. He sucks, but you know what? I'm gonna keep him. I could have had better, but I'm gonna keep him. Jacksonville, Miami, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua. Neither are any good. Carolina and New Orleans. Carolina's pathetic. Steve Young is just horrible. New Orleans, Carr, they need an offensive coordinator and a coach. Carr, I didn't think is terrible, but we will see. They should have made the playoffs last year. Minnesota and the Giants. Oh, yeah. Hopefully it'll be Mullins for Minnesota against Daniel Jones. Tyrod Taylor's not there anymore. The Giants don't have Saquon Barkley, and Minnesota doesn't have their running back. All they got is Jefferson. If J.J. McCarthy gets on the field, they're in big trouble. Oakland, San Diego. Oakland with Minshew against San Diego with Harbaugh. We know how Harbaugh is. We got to see how Minshew's not bad, but, well, he's got Brock Bowers. They'll probably hit him a lot. And Devontae Adams. So they got pretty good receivers. Denver, Seattle, we got to see Bo Nix. We know how Smith is. Geno Smith's terrible. Dallas and Cleveland, we talked about. Prescott's terrible, and Watson's terrible, but Thompson Robinson I like. So we'll see. But probably a 3-interception game for Prescott. Who's my defensive end on Cleveland's going to kill him? What's his name? It'll come to me. Washington, Tampa. Tampa doesn't show much. Washington's got my man Daniels. Best pick they could have made. I like. I think he'll come on. They need some receivers, running backs. Their defense sucks, so they're terrible team again. The Rams in Detroit. Well, we know Stafford, Pukanuka. They drafted some more wide receivers and some more defense. So look for the Rams to be right up there this year. And Detroit, no defense. Detroit's an over team. They'll score their 25, 30 points. They'll give up 25, 30 points, and every game will be a nail biter at the end. Goff throwing interceptions and going for 2 and going for 4th down. And, oh, shit, he didn't make it, and they lose. So I got them with 6 wins this year, maybe 7 if they can beat Indy. The Jets and the Niners, well, it's all up to Aaron Rodgers if he plays. Brock Purdy's great. Frisco's great. Their weakness was their defensive coordinator. They fired him. Why the Lions don't do that, I don't know. Their defensive coordinator sucks. You give up 30 points a game. How is that acceptable? And that's not your first defensive coordinator. That's your second defensive coordinator. First one sucked even worse. This guy's terrible. You're up 24-7. He lets Brock Purdy come back. That was just a terrible coaching nightmare. See, that's my point about it. Like, watching Campbell coach the Lions, I don't see anything. Yeah, rah-rah bullshit. So was Jerry Faust at Notre Dame. He was rah-rah. How did that work out? You can't – it's not a rah-rah coach. You want Jimmy Johnson, serious, but he's smart coach. I don't see Campbell as a smart coach. Goes for too many 4th downs, doesn't understand the consequences. In the Dallas game, okay, whatever the fuck happened, you had it move from the 2 to the 7. You still went for it. What? You're down 1 point, going for the 2 seed. You could tie it and go to overtime and win it. What the hell are you doing going for 2 from the 7-yard line? Are you insane? Do you understand what you're doing? Do you have a mind that can you coach? Not from watching that and then all the 4th downs against, this is Dallas's defense. You ever hear of Micah Parsons? You're going to get 7 yards on Micah Parsons. Yeah, okay. And you guys think he knows how to coach. And then against the Niners, twice he goes for 4th down. This is against the Niners. Are you out of your mind? He did it against New England the year before. And they lost to Zappy 30-0 going for 4th down against New England. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the probability. He looks at the whole picture and says, 51% of the time, if you go for 4th, you get it. And then all these idiots on the radio going, well, yeah, but he's aggressive. That doesn't make you a winner. I can be aggressive at poker and lose all my money because everybody's just checking to me, letting me be aggressive, and they all got, full houses. Oop, but I was aggressive. Yeah, I was an idiot though. You can't. It's not about being aggressive. It's about being smart. He's not smart. That's what's lacking in him. That's my point. That's the bottom line. So that's week 1 in the NFL. What we're looking for. We'll adjust. I just wanted to talk a little NFL. We just had the schedule. Again, buy your gold, buy your silver. I see a sure thing. I don't want to diversify. Luke wants to get into the gold and stocks. And I'm like, yeah, I understand you, but the markets are going to crash. Therefore, it's a fake market. It's kept up by the debt. The debt's buying stock because everybody's afraid of the banks and everybody's afraid. So people are trying to get out of dollars. So I have $100,000 of crap. So I got to get out. Where do I go? And you're sitting there with a flare going, this is what you get into. And nobody wants to get into gold. So they go into stocks, which pushes the stock price up. But when the market collapses, they're going to lose everything, still being in dollars. They don't know it yet. The recession that's here, they don't know it. They don't understand it because Biden lies to everybody saying, oh, no recession. Oh, the market, look at the stock market. Look how good it is. Oh, you don't want to buy gold. No. And it's the exact opposite. You want to buy gold and silver. You don't want to be in the stock market. So that's the bottom line there. So anyway, great day with the gold, great day with the silver. Silver up almost $2. And I joked, I said, why does gold goes up $40? Why doesn't silver? So gold ended over 24, 11 or 12, silver 31.50. Now let's have a big week next week. It's been announced by BRICS. There's gold-backed currencies coming. COMEX gold pretty much blown up. So off we go. So that's the bottom line, my stone cold friends. That's it tonight. Indiana and basketball. My 10 unit is the Yankees over. My 5 units, Toronto over, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Detroit's my 3 unit because I don't trust them. They never do what they're the most inconsistent team I've ever seen. So that's it for tonight. I'll be on in the morning looking at baseball, basketball. Let's look at the PGA. Greg John wants to know what tournament it is. Greg John. Xander Schauffele is through 15. He's minus 12. Colin Morikawa, minus 11. And then the big names start. Thomas Dentry's minus 9. Mark Hubbard, minus 9. Scott Scheffler, minus 9. Satish Taglina. Oh, that's my guy. I don't know what. I've never heard of him before. Minus 9. Robert McIntyre, minus 9. Austin Eckhart, minus 8. And the worst putter in the world, Byron DeChambeau, minus 7. I don't know how anybody can putt with that stroke. And we got Brooks. We got what's his name? Foster Brooks, minus 7. And we've got Calvin Thomas, minus 6. And Mary Tyler Moore, minus 5. Tom Kite, minus 5. Adam West, minus 5. Cool Hand Luke, minus 5. Max Homa, minus 5. All the big stars are in this one. Oh, my God. So where's Rory? Here's Rory, minus 4. So Rory's got to get it going here at 13. Anyway, Valhalla Country Club in Louisville. And that's it. So that's the bottom line, folks. We will see what's happening. Hoping to hear from Daria this weekend that she's just up at the friend's cabin. Just to get away. I don't know. This is the problem without the communication. Then it leaves you going, is she okay? What's going on? And that's really what the problem is. What is going on? why isn't she able to text me more? And again, I got to realize she's busy, she's Russian, she's poor, and she's got a daughter to take care of and who needs help with their homework. So I can't view it out of my lens where I'm not working and that. And I'm about to make my omelet right now, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow at 11. Questions, comments, anything, anybody? All right, go gold. Buy more. Buy as much as you can. That's a quarter ounce, by the way. All right, have a nice day. I will see you tomorrow about 11ish. Ciao.